Welcome
to Jake and Trev Review Everything
Live.
Oh my god.
We're live this time.
It's true, we are live.
I'm Jake.
I'm Trev, and we've been experiencing technical difficulties this night. I blame Windows 8 and therefore the Microsoft Corporation. You guys is butts.
Pay us up.
Give us some.
Bring that skrills.
Give us some filthy lucre to say good things about you.
My dad says you have a reverberating boom going on with the sound. Oh no.
See, that's what we're talking about. Terrible.
I'm trying here.
It's probably just me. It's probably my voice.
I'm Trevor.
I'm Trevor, and I have the booming fucking noise. There's something wrong with me.
Hey, Kira knows. He says hello, Jake's dad.
Yeah,
Say hi to my dad.
Say hi to my mom,
yeah.
Everybody.
I don't know if she's on here yet.
You know the rules.
But you know the rules. So.
You know the rules.
So, I'm gonna start.
Sure.
There's a motherfucking Deadpool movie being made for 2016. Trevor wants to piss on my parade, but I will have none of it. So we will discuss it, but he is not going to get to my brain.
I'm not going to successfully make him feel bad about this, or make him instill any doubts in his head about how great this movie is going to be.
The fact that it is being made is miraculous.
Okay. First off, I want somebody to, this is bonus points. You can collect some bonus points at home.
Okay.
What is my current alignment? Okay, so what is my current alignment is question 1. And number 2, what movie review caused me to change my alignment? And that will inform why I feel the way I do about Deadpool.
That's a J&TRE.
That's a Jake and Trev Review Everything fan question.
The canonical.
For the fans. What is my alignment and why is my alignment that way? But I'm going to wait a moment for anybody to answer, and then I'm just going to answer it for them.
Okay, so...
And explain why it is I feel the way I do.
Well, here's the thing. I'm going to start off... I'm going to start your argument right away. Mm-hmm. So some people say that... Okay. Actually, sharp left turn. If you've ever seen a Fallout, or I assume a lot of different fanboy Facebook page... They are constantly yelling for the next thing if it's not currently being made. Fallout New Vegas was the last Fallout game that was made, and since then, a lot of people love Fallout. There are a lot of groups for it. There are a surprising number of groups that only share like Fallout memes and things like that. But one of the mainstays of that is Bethesda make Fallout 4.
Hashtag Bethesda, hashtag demand Fallout 4, hashtag,
And I think the problem I'm having right now is that Deadpool, now that it's been announced for a movie, is slowly sliding into that direction. But because they know it's being made, then people are making outrageous demands on it. Now, I'll say that the first and foremost problem that fans are having with it is that it will more than likely be a PG-13 movie, though I have seen articles to the contrary where it may be an R-rated movie. If we can take other movies as evidence, there is no reason that it can't be a good movie for PG-13. If you are interested in Deadpool because he gets dismembered a lot and there's a lot of blood and stuff, they'll be able to get away with him losing arms and legs and stuff, as long as it's not like, Cronenberg levels of gory,
Right. There's ways to achieve a lot of the effects that you need for a Deadpool thing here. I don't consider swearing, which is one of the big problems with when it comes to rating. I don't consider swearing to be an intrinsic part of how Deadpool is portrayed.
He's not like Wolverine. Wolverine swears more than Deadpool does.
You would think.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like Jake says, that some of it's kind of the ultra violence, but then on the other hand, because he's Deadpool, it's sort of a cartoony ultra violence anyway. So
aside from Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe and the Deadpool Max series, pretty much all Deadpool's comics have been the main Marvel, and you have to argue the main Marvel is PG-13. If you had to equate it to movie standards, for the most part. Just regular old Marvel comics, that's PG-13. So why would it be so important to have that a hard R? I don't understand. I feel like if they, especially because it's Fox, they'll be able to get away with a lot more. Is sneaking past the MPAA, so they'll be able to put in the parts that are necessary to the plot and gory, and even then, I'm sure they'll be able to finagle through it. So that's like the main thing. Other things are like Ryan Reynolds may or may not be in it, or he will be in it. Like that's that. A lot of fans are like, I don't want to see Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool. I would let. He's my number one pick.
Can I make a cast suggestion to ruin this?
God, who?
Dane Cook.
Shut your face.
Hashtag Dane Cook is Deadpool.
Shut your stupid face. That's awful. Oh my god.
No, okay, so in answer to the question, Todd, no, I'm not chaotic chaotic neutral. I'm evil. I'm evil now, because I watched The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Partially that's in honor of the flimsy pretense for characters becoming evil in that movie. But because I'm evil now, I want to take Deadpool away from Jake in the way that the world took Spider-Man away from me.
Yeah. I can feel it.
It's not right. It's not right. And maybe someday I'll be able to make a heroic turn again. But
so hopefully something will turn you around on that.
But for now, I'm just evil. And I want this movie to crash and burn, and I want it to crush Jake's dreams. No, I mean, not really. But, I mean, here's the thing, guys. It's, like I said, it's not really, it can't really actually be that hard to tell a Spider-Man movie. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I just outgrew Spider-Man. Maybe the Spider-Man stories were literally always of this quality, and I just never really realized it.
Yeah. There's a quote from High Fidelity where he says, was I depressed because of pop music, or did I listen to pop music because I was depressed?
Mm-hmm.
And or something along those lines. And it kind of makes sense there too. It's like, is Spider-Man getting bad, or was it always that way?
Mm-hmm. It's a legitimate question. No, and in fact, concerning rumors about it being a PG-13 or R, there's been a message here from the writer of the Deadpool script who said, listen guys, we don't know what it's going to be yet. Cool your jets, stop the rampant speculating. Let's just find out what happens. We're going to be trying to keep as hard of an edge on this as we can.
Yeah.
But, even if it's PG-13, it doesn't mean we've taken Deadpool's balls off or whatever.
Well, and they probably still have it up. I imagine now that it's greenlit, they'll probably just put it on the Fox page. But the spec video, the shop around video that they had that everybody thought was an actual trailer, but it wasn't. That didn't have any blood.
No.
It was bloodless, and it was still full of action. Like, the only thing was he dropped a few F-bombs. And I want to point this out. Kira Kennedy says, the problem with the PG-13 movie is that Deadpool would only be able to give a single fuck. Well, good news for you, Deadpool gives no fucks. So, that's perfect, PG-13. Yeah, a lot of the best jokes are the ones where it is, like, infamously... Deadpool had a Yo Mama competition against Spider-Man, and he was like, I think Deadpool won because Spider-Man was like, I give up, and then he was like, oh, I was just about to drop like the best Yo Mama joke ever, and some bystander was like, no, you weren't, Deadpool, and he like whispers it in his ear, and he's just like, oh my god, like just blown away. So I mean, we could have heard it. But at the same time, it was way funnier that, we saw his reaction to it, and it was like, oh,
right,
shit.
It was so amazing.
So, there's a lot of things you can do. There's a lot of things a lot of tools at your disposal to be able to make something good, even just alluding to the fact that he can't swear. Like, I know a lot of people, there was one suggestion where it was like, well, just have it bleeped out when he swears, and then have him realize that because of all of the fourth wall breaking, and use that as, like, maybe a short gag or a running gag or something.
Well, the joke that I recall from the Deadpool video game was basically that Deadpool was aware that he was being made into a video game, and he was like trying to get a hold of like the people who were producing the video game in the game to tell them that it had to be, if they couldn't take anything away.
Yeah.
And then it was like, listen, Deadpool, I mean, we can't do all these things,
yeah.
and And you could easily do something with that too, where like he like calls in like a meeting with the MPAA people and whatever, and tries to plead
Can
his
I do
case.
this? Schwink.
No. Absolutely not.
Can
What
I
about
do
this?
this?
You know, and then like do like a reaction shot of like just like red fluid spraying across the room, and like just just Gallaghering like everybody in the room with blood.
And then they could be like, you can't do that, and then he could be like holding like a soda bottle or something. Or like just a bucket of like
tomato paste or whatever. Sure, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, you could have a lot of fun with that.
And that's another big thing is like it's whoever thinks Deadpool is all about just like mayhem and carnage, like he's badass because he can do that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
But it's he has much more character than just chopping dudes up and getting chopped up.
There are some things that I think that their highest potential you need to be as unrestricted as possible in depicting what their their violence level is or whatever. But on the other hand, I just don't think that Deadpool's one of those things that needs to be at maximum carnage. If you'll pardon the pun here, but
No. Well,
okay, I'm sorry.
I'll hold a grudge against that forever.
Speaking of which, in the added, earlier this week, Facebook fans of the show may have noticed where I lamented and apparently claimed that Jake was worshipping the gods of entertainment correctly in order to have the Deadpool movie created, and I was worshipping them incorrectly. Because not only did Amazing Spider-Man 2 suck and turn me into a villain, but also they renamed the upcoming Venom movie, which again, just as a brief aside, I do not understand how you're going to make a Venom movie that's not going to actually be a Spider-Man movie that introduces Venom. I'm just saying, you almost literally, oh my god, I can't even understand how you could try to remove Venom from Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, because
Venom himself is like a character that is like the persona of Venom.
Eddie Brock's motivations are from hating Spider-Man.
Maybe it'll be a Flash Thompson version of Venom.
Venom's motivations, like the symbiote, are hating Spider-Man. And also, Eddie Brock and the symbiote together get their powers because the symbiote was part of Spider-Man for a while.
The reason that he can do that, and he has like a sort of a spider sense, and the reason he can do some of the things and like stick to walls and everything.
He learned it from Spider-Man.
I learned it from watching you, Dad. That's what Venom says to Spider-Man every time.
Yeah.
So again, I guess you could just say, some scientist, at Oscorp is trying to recreate the Spider-Man and creates a intelligent symbiote suit that responds to the wearer's body and can give them Spider-Man-like powers, and then some night janitor, Eddie Brock, accidentally wanders into the lab. I know, right?
It's like all the bad parts of like Golden Age comic books.
Somebody was experimenting in a lab when an accident went horribly awry. And now they've become Venom and Carnage.
Right. So I guess then and by the way, please don't listen to a word I'm saying, because everything I'm saying here about this theoretical Venom movie is a bad idea.
Well, yeah.
Okay? So, night janitor Eddie Brock wanders into the lab late one night, and because he hears like a tapping on like glass, and he's like, who's that? What And then he goes, and then the symbiote suit breaks out of its containment unit and gets all over him. And then he's mad at Spider-Man because nobody would have made this stupid symbiote suit if it wasn't for Spider-Man. So, and then the symbiote's like, yeah, I hate Spider-Man too. And Eddie Brock's like, why? And then the symbiote suit's like, I don't know, let's just go with it.
No, okay, this is my prediction. So, I told you this the other day. The Venom suit, the reason that they're Kira Kennedy has said, speaking of Carnage, what are your thoughts on the Venom movie? That was a couple seconds ago, but so supposedly adding Carnage in. Well, it is being called Venom Carnage. I think my prediction is that the symbiote suits are probably going to be from space, if not created by Oscorp. Because everything's created by Oscorp now, and that's their big MacGuffin factory. So
the Oscorp villain factory.
Yeah, the Oscorp cool dudes factory.
The easy bake villain oven.
Yeah. So probably what they're going to have is either they find the symbiote, maybe not even from space, just like, oh, we went to the depths of some forest in some part of the world and
found it at the bottom of the ocean.
In some sort of underground pyramid tomb thing or whatever. Who cares? They'll find it or create it. And it will basically be, yeah, like Eddie Brock will have this. They have to have Spider-Man in there somewhere because it is a spin-off. Mm-hmm. And he could be like a Venom ally at some point. Basically, there are a number of symbiote suits, and I really think that they're probably not just going to have Venom and Carnage, but like Shriek, probably not Toxin, just because Toxin was like way later. But yeah, most of the original symbiotes that came out of like the Carnage, you know. So really, you're gonna have.
So you're gonna have Eddie Brock with this Venom suit, and his Venom suit's gonna be like, I want to fucking eat people's brains, wow, wow, and then Eddie's gonna be like, but suit, I don't want to do those things. I want to be a defender of the people. And then the suit's gonna be like, wow, wow, like Spider-Man? I hate Spider-Man. And then Eddie Brock's gonna be like, yeah, I know you hate Spider-Man, but listen. And then the suit's gonna be like, well, fuck this, then I'm leaving. And then part of the suit's gonna go away and then go find some psychopath who wants to eat people's brains, and then that's gonna become Carnage. And then like most of what's left of Venom is still the good part of the symbiote.
That's pretty good. That's pretty.
No, it's stupid.
No, I know it's stupid, but it's a pretty good prediction.
Well, okay, yeah. Please, again, don't listen to a word I'm saying, Hollywood. None of these are actually good ideas. I'm just talking for the sake of having a show here.
Just snowballing. No, yeah, we know you watch the show religiously, Hollywood. So don't
take any bright ideas here.
Yeah.
Again. My thoughts on the Venom Carnage movie. I do not understand how you can take a character who is a dark reflection of Spider-Man and then take another character who is a dark reflection of the character who is a dark reflection of Spider-Man and put them in a movie together and then also pretend that it's not a Spider-Man movie. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know how you're going to get Richard Garfield in there as Spider-Man to do like what, cameos or like as a secondary character in the movie. Is he going to show up and fight Venom, and Venom's going to be like, I'm just trying to do what you're doing, and he's like, no, you're doing the bad, you're a bad guy. So yeah, I don't know. It's stupid, and I don't like it, and I think it's full of butts.
I'm sorry, Trev. Well, yeah, I don't hope that there's like an equalizer or something. I just hope that you get your fanboy thing at some point.
Someday.
And, maybe I'll eat my words in 2 years when the Deadpool movie comes out. It could suck.
It could be the Duke Nukem Forever of movies.
Oh my god, shut your face. No, I honestly don't think there's a whole lot that you can do to mess that up. Deadpool takes a certain amount of care for the character to make it. When you make a movie like Venom, it's just like, oh, what are Venom's things? He is a brooding guy that hates Spider-Man, and he's also got a symbiote suit, and he works very much like Spider-Man does, power-wise. Mm-hmm. And he also eats people sometimes. Or drains them of energy.
And sometimes they draw his tongue just to be obnoxious.
But
hold on, Jake, it's wrapping around your fucking head.
It's dripping venom. Because his name is Venom.
Oh, obnoxious.
But I feel like Deadpool, like you actually, like he's a multifaceted character. He's not like Punisher. Like we had 2 Punisher movies. One of them was PG-13, wasn't it? The Tom Jane one, or was that R?
Oh, that was PG-13.
Yeah, and then we had Warzone, which was the Max version. I actually enjoyed both of those movies, to be quite honest. But they were both radically different in characterization and storyline and everything like that. And I think it's just because everyone has their own idea of what Punisher is. Mm-hmm. And he was very different in a lot of the comic books too. But I feel like Deadpool...
Like, sometimes he's an undead person who's been brought back from the grave.
Sometimes he's Frankencastle.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that even if you focus on a certain part of Deadpool, as long as it's not, you know, just him kicking ass, because that's not the most important part of it. That's not the part that makes him stand out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because Taskmaster can do the same shit that he can do, because Deathstroke can do the same shit that he can do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a jokester, he can break the fourth wall, those are all really important. So I think that as long as they focus on anything besides just the ass kickery, then they're doing something right. The only time I've ever seen, like, over the last 8 years, the only time I've read middling to terrible Deadpool comic is when goddamn Rob Liefeld gets his hands back on it again. Because I understand, he created the character kind of, you know, he's the guy whose name is on the, you know, created by Rob Liefeld, you know, like, I get it. But if you read, like, I have the first issue, the first appearance of Deadpool, and he's just a hitman. He's just a hitman with the you know, oh, sorry to drop in on you, you know, like crashing through a window or something, like, but I'm here to kill somebody for Gideon. And, you know, a lot of the early storylines were just, he was just a generic badass in a costume because Rob Liefeld. But later on, people got a hold of him and was like, oh, let's do this with him, let's do that with him. It was the people that came along later that fleshed out the character, and every time Rob Liefeld goes back to it, like, he just ends up doing bad. Like, they had the Deadpool Corps, and I have all the issues of Deadpool Corps, but it was just the worst. Like, it was
too
in
much
space.
Deadpool?
No, it wasn't. It was a bunch of different Deadpool characters, but even then, like, they didn't really flesh those characters out either. I don't know how to describe it exactly. I'll give it some more thought, maybe come back to it later, but I just remember not liking it very much. And Merc with a Mouth was pretty good, but that was another one. Pretty much everything else was really good, though. I like the Deadpool team-ups. I liked, you know, obviously the main story. I've only seen, like, 3 issues of the new series. I guess they're up to, like, 20 or 30 now, which is crazy, with, like, Brian Posehn writing. But yeah, when he's fighting dead presidents, like, that's fucking awesome. Like, Brian Posehn understands Deadpool. I hope they bring him on just because he is doing the main series now, and consult with him, like, hey, this is the new Deadpool. What do you think about the new Deadpool? Let's see. My dad says, prediction, the other symbiotes will be in a vault in a SHIELD facility. Dad, they can't because it's Fox. It's
mucho incorrecto.
It's Sony.
Sony, and there is no S.H.I.E.L.D. at the Sony version.
They might have Oscorp. It's in an Oscorp vault. Yep. Well, that's... See, and my dad brings up a good point. He says, per the Amazing Spider-Man cartoons recently. Well, the sweet thing... And I don't think they get enough props. The TV cartoons... And also the movies, like the direct-to-DVD cartoon movies from DC and Marvel together, like, they're really good. And they don't have to worry about that stuff. That's how the Avengers get to meet Spider-Man and the X-Men.
But here's the thing. There certain, like, Batman and Spider-Man are like the 2 most overutilized characters in animation. Like, since the 90s, then there's been, like, 4 or 5 separate fucking Spider-Man cartoons. And the same thing with Batman. Oh, yeah. There was the Spider-Man that we all remember, like...
Radioactive Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, guess what?
Sure.
Spider-Man.
Yeah. Yeah, with the Kingpin. And,
Spider-Man.
And, you know... They had they had all kinds of things. And then there's, like, Spectacular Spider-Man and Amazing Spider-Man cartoon series.
I like the Amazing Spider-Man cartoon. There is also Deadpool in that.
Yes. And there was Ultimate Spider-Man and, you know, Spider-Man and his ultimate friends.
Spider-Man
and Ultimate Spider-Man and his amazing friends. And
Spider-Man 2099 and none of his friends. And Spider-Man 2099 doesn't have any friends.
Because he's... No. And, you know, and the same thing with Batman. There was Batman the animated series and The Batman and
Batman.
Batman,
Brave and
the
the Bold.
Brave and the Bold. There's another one. Oh, Beware the Batman.
What?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. That sounds dumb.
It sounds extra dumb.
Although I liked the Batman a little bit. It wasn't that bad. And I also...
Wrong! It was awful!
I like Brave and the Bold, too. I like the idea of him
God.
teaming up.
Okay, I can see that, although I watched a few
General,
episodes.
I remember he teamed up with Blue Beetle, and they fought...
Was it Ted Kord Blue Beetle,
Yeah.
or Jamie Ray's Blue Beetle?
It might have been Ray's.
Okay, that's kind of
Yeah.
cool. That's
What, you don't like Ted Kord?
I plead the fifth. Jamie Reyes is a more interesting character. The whole thing with his Blue Beetle thing is a more interesting thing. Like, well, I guess it's a little Stargate-y. You know what I mean? Like ancient alien Egyptians, fucking power scarab armor, that kind of thing. You know?
I like.
It's
Ted
a little Stargate-y.
Also,
but at least
you know, the Deadpool movie means that there might be in the future, if it does well, or if a lot of other superhero movies keep this trend up of having superhero movies over the next few years, we might have Blue Beetle and Booster Gold, and I would watch that. I would watch that movie. I would want to see one of my favorite. There are a lot of books in the DC and Marvel universes that are like completely made just for kicks, just for funsies,
for
goofs. And one of my favorite ones was I can't believe it's not the Justice League. It was the Super Friends or whatever. That I think Booster Gold wanted it to be called the Super Friends. And they were like, no, that's not happening.
That's
but
dumb.
It was before Maxwell Lord became a total asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like the leader of the group with Ralph Dibny and Nort sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
The what was it? The Welsh Terrier or whatever?
Those were some dark times for the Justice League.
Yeah. But it was funny, though, because Maxwell Lord was like kind of like their Bosley. and they would just goof around and stuff. And the Deadpool's very much like that. I mean, you know, it swings from seriousness to comedy, but and they did too. But it was very much like a goofing around. Like you had different superheroes. I think what's his face? The Green Lantern with the bowl cut. I don't know why I forgot his name right now.
Guy Gardner.
He was in it. Ice, I think, or no, Fire.
Everyone's least favorite Green Lantern.
Really?
Guy Gardner? Yeah.
He's on my top 5 list.
What?
I love it. I love him.
I suppose you like him like Kilowog too.
Well, you gotta like Kilowog.
No. Okay.
You poozer.
Poozer.
That's what he says. Kilowog says poozer.
That's true. He calls people poozers, even though I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
It's an alien insult, so it sounds weird. That's the joke.
Yep. That is the joke. No, Guy Gardner. Like easily.
My dad says, Jake and Trev, the amazing Jake and Trev. Jake and Trev begins. Expect those in the next couple of years. We have a whole roster of different shows that we're spinning off.
Jake and Trev Strike Back.
We're scheduled up through like 2022.
Mm-hmm. So don't call.
Yeah.
We're busy.
Always.
But no, Guy Gardner, he's the character that everyone rejoiced when Batman punched him in his stupid smug face.
Batman's punched all of the Green Lanterns in the face. I'd like you to know that.
I know.
Especially the OG. Well, not the OG, like the
Hal Jordan?
Hal Jordan, yeah.
Well, especially if you read Aspar.
What?
Aspar. All-Star Batman and Robin.
Oh, yeah. No, well, I'm thinking because this was right after he came back from being Parallax, and Batman was like, "Fuck you."
I think there's like the DC universe like writers are just like really fond of the image of Batman punching Green Lanterns in the face.
It's just it's I think it's a power thing, really. I mean, you have what the fuck was that? Something just jumped off my shelf.
Oh, it was a borrower. Don't worry about it.
That was spooky.
I
I don't like that one bit.
was a borrower. It's fine. They're just you wouldn't even notice anything's going.
That was scary. I'm spooked out, guys.
Okay. While Jake's spooked out, we're going to go to a couple questions that were written in the pre-show.
Oh, there we go. I know I saw that freaking thing.
Phyllis Peterson, that's my mom. Say hi to my mom.
Everybody said hi to your mom. Everybody said hi to my dad.
Shut up. Shut up. It says, if you had one wish, and one wish only, and you couldn't waste it on anything that's actually important, what would it be? So no wishing for world peace, no wishing for a solution to the to climate change or anything like that. What's your thing? What's your one wish that's totally wasted?
Just
I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna wish for a 10 free passes, and basically when a show or movie series gets canceled, I can go to Hollywood and
be like,
say,
"Here
not
you go.
so fast.
You gotta punch my card now.
You gotta keep going.
You gotta keep making
This
show.
is a show that keeps going now."
I can see that.
And then I could force them to remake Firefly. Get fucking Malcolm Reynolds and his crew back in there, fucking tearing across the fucking skyways. Boo-boo! You can't take the sky from me. Boo-boo!
I like that. I like that.
What about you?
I would like an extra month in the year where, like, the month before is super hectic. It's like 12 times as worse as Black Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody goes nuts because they are preparing for the 13th month of the year, which no one works.
Oh, okay, so
it's a whole month. You can't go to the store.
Is part of your wish that everything just keeps working during that month?
No, that's what I'm saying. The month before, everybody's stocking up.
Well, sure, but like, I hate to be Johnny realistic or whatever, but like, what about people who are in the hospital?
My wish, bro. Okay. It's if it's a like important thing, then yeah, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's like fast food or like, the store or anything, like, okay, you have the choice to keep working.
Mm-hmm.
But you are by no means required to work that month.
Mm-hmm.
On
the expectation is that most businesses are going to be closed, except for essential services.
Right.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Yeah.
I'm on board. This is great.
Yeah.
13th month.
13th month.
I'm all in favor of that. And then the second question, and this is a little bit more broad.
Oh, there's a couple more. My dad says Solomon Grundy movie, LOL. That'd be cool with the new Batman, if they are, Green Lantern or whoever. Like,
Solomon Grundy
Flash
has had an origin set up for him in Green Arrow, right? Or in the Arrow program.
Really?
Yes.
I'm telling you, we talked about this the other day, just really briefly. The DC, Warner and DC are doing a really bad job at movie universe, but their TV universes have always been pretty solid. And Marvel's doing the opposite. They have a really good movie universe, but I still hate S.H.I.E.L.D. But, Kira Kennedy said Jake and Trev Rise, and my dad said Jake and Trev Webcam Warriors. Oh, and Dad says you get quadruple overtime if you work the 13th month.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the second question, Phyllis Peterson writes, okay, so you are a director of a new movie about a new colony on a newly founded planet. Who would your ideal actor and actress selections to lead the brand new inhabitants of said planet? And you do such a fantastic job, everyone was dying to see the sequel. What would you name the planet, and what would be the movie title? So it's just kind of like a dream project sort of overarching question. Who would you like to? You're doing a sci-fi movie about like some like brave new colony off in the black of space. I'd probably want to do kind of a story, kind of like the theme of which would probably be isolation. I bring kind of the whole theme of how they're literally isolated and how, as people are trying to build this thing, even though there are other people, how everyone's putting up walls to try to keep people out of their deepest, darkest secrets, and so on and so forth. Because surely what sort of people are attracted to a job where they're going to be basically put to sleep for 40, 50, 60 years in cryo
Oh, I know what you could call it.
And call it Lilycat?
You could call it Outland.
Mm.
It's a Sean Connery movie. Actually, I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it the other day. You should watch it. It's actually.
Did I just describe?
Well, it's a mining colony. And so it's all like people that obviously don't want to be anywhere else, like Lilycat. And Sean Connery has moved in because they needed a new sheriff, and he's digging a little too deep.
Ooh.
And it's actually really good. I was surprised because I found it and I was like, Sean Connery in space, fuck yeah! And then I watched it. I was like, this is not exactly what I was expecting, but it's good. It's good.
I would like to cast, in sort of a opposition to one of his other famous roles, I'd like to cast Ian McShane as the law keeper.
Ian McShane.
Ian McShane. He was Al Swearingen in Deadwood.
Like the main.
The bar owner.
With the.
Swidgen. No?
I never watched Deadwood, dude. I'm sorry. I haven't seen it.
We used the clip in that one episode of him cutting that guy's throat. And,
that guy.
That guy.
Okay, yeah. That's what I figured.
Yeah. I like to cast him as sort of a law keeper. Maybe cast Martin Freeman. I'd like to in sort of a. This is I'm doing a lot of homages and sort of kind of references in this movie I'm talking about here.
Okay.
Like I said, the whole kind of pretense of like people going out there who are trying to start a new life, kind of like an Alaskan,
you gotta
like
pick
the
a
new
lady,
Alaskan.
too.
I'm gonna pick a lady. Don't
Okay.
worry.
You get a little long-winded here.
Whoa! I'm just trying to describe.
I know.
I'm doing you a favor.
Okay.
See, he's gonna sit here and pretend like he's been ready this whole time, but this entire time, his brain's just thinking, how can I have all this shit ready to go when Trevor's done with his fucking long-winded diatribe?
Well, you called it, but still.
Yeah. Martin Freeman. I'd like to cast Martin Freeman as basically the bad guy of the picture. As someone.
Martin Freeman is a bad guy.
Yeah. Like as a psycho.
Yeah.
It's like someone who who slowly like starts picking the colony apart and playing everyone against one another.
So you want needful things in space?
I wouldn't say that. But and then when I get Martin Freeman in there, I'm gonna tell him I want him to watch Ian Holm in Alien, and I want him to kind of base our part of his performance off of that. That kind of I like him as a sort of a cold Englishman, a cold psychotic Englishman. And in the female lead, possibly as like a team administrator, like actually the person who's technically in charge of the colony. Gosh, this is a tough one. I kind of want to go ScoJo. I kind of want to put ScoJo in this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, fuck it. I'm gonna go with ScoJo. ScoJo. And I am aware she hates it every time I say that.
Her hate meter rises.
Her hatred for me will fuel.
Because she watches the show, and I'm sorry, but Trev's not.
And I'm just doing it because I want you to be hateful for the role. Use your hatred of me, the director, in your character.
I could see that. All right, my lead, and don't make fun of me, but my lead is Benedict Cumberbatch. It's a colony, but they're also mining. It's a mining colony, but it's like there are a lot of like different craters, so there's like different cities that are like walled off. Like in Cowboy Bebop, you know how on Mars they have like that huge dome that's set in the crater, and it's got like the oxygen like coming off the edges of the thing. And I love that city, but like smaller,
Mm-hmm.
like smaller like areas. Like you still have like the oxygen generators that are pouring it out, but if you go too far up or too far out away from the cities, then the oxygen starts getting lower and lower. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of mixing into the atmosphere. Um, but then further down, you have like the mining and stuff, and then there's parts of the planet that people really haven't been to. But then they start finding like a lost civilization. So it's kind of a cross between like Doom and like H.P. Lovecraft. Like so you have like these old horrors that are like lay dormant in the planet and have been aroused by all the mining and start like
Mm-hmm.
driving people insane and like ripping holes in space and generally doing like H.P. Lovecraft type stuff.
Okay.
But so you have Benedict Cumberbatch. So he's there to like scout out new territories with like his team.
Mm-hmm.
And I would also go. I want to say Lizzie Kaplan.
Okay.
Uh, she has been in a whole bunch. I like her a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a new show called Masters of Sex, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and that's supposed to be really good. And she's in that too. I haven't seen it, but I feel like she usually plays like kind of like the jaded, like hipster girl.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like she could do really well in a dramatic role. And the bad guy in the movie would be somebody that wants to like silently wants to kind of uh explore more. Like his curiosity is like working against him and the rest of the team, and then eventually he's just turned by like almost complete cultist by all this like space horror.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Baby Goose,
Okay.
because I think he could do a strong like silent cultist. He's always I hate to say this,
Wait, Ryan Gosling, strong and silent?
but he I think
You're crazy.
He delivers some of his best performances when he's not saying anything. I really do.
That's fair.
And like I just thought like The Notebook, not movie that I enjoy at all, but I felt like a lot of the times he just came off as kind of goofy when he just kept talking.
Mm-hmm.
And he does menacing, and he does like mysterious, and I'm not fanboying out on him. I'm just saying like he would be a good villain, I think.
Sure.
That's why I like the Martin Freeman. That's why I like the
Yeah.
you give people a chance to kind of do a different thing, and I feel like
I've seen, yeah, absolutely. And now the final part of that question, the title,
Mhm.
and like I said, kind of following in terms of like these themes I was talking about of isolation and comfort and like finding a new place, and like I said, I can imagine like Everybody has these different motivations for wanting to go out there, but ultimately it's always to find a new place for them to be. It's and I'm gonna go with the more recent Hollywood trend of single word titles rather than like the Caprican colony or whatever. And just call it Home. Home.
That's terrible. I hate you for that.
That's fine. Imagine this Martin Freeman, like a psycho, signing up for all this because he's literally never felt at home or comfortable with other humans for the entirety of his life.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Yeah.
And probably, what are they called? If it wasn't in the living room, I'd grab it right now. My Cthulhu book.
Arkham Horror.
No, I would probably call it something like Relay.
Mm-hmm.
Or you know, or what do they call it? Star Beasts? I'd call it Star Beast.
Isn't that the original title of Alien?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it works on both.
See, I think it's interesting that I went with a human villain and Jake went with like Cthulian horror. That's we made two very different movies there for you.
Well, it makes for human villains too because
sure.
I mean
cultists and so forth.
H.P. Lovecraft was really good about being like, oh, these things will either drive you insane or they will drive you insane enough to like start working
to serve
for
them. Yeah. Right.
So, yeah, I think that'd be cool. Were there any other questions?
Oh no, those were our 2 questions.
Let's see. We got. Kira Kennedy said about the 13th month. He said, "I propose we call this 13th month Smarch."
Smarch.
I like that. Mine was gonna be Jake Vember. Why not Jake Tober? Because fuck you. That's why. I would not. I would like to see Dragon Riders of Pern done that way. That must have been between what we were talking about. Yeah, Dragon Riders of Pern. They're gonna make it. They're digging up every book that they can find on the shelf to.
Hey, is there a book that anybody enjoyed ever? Let's make
when
it
they
into
were
a
teenagers.
movie. Yeah.
Because we have The Giver. I know a lot of like the new like The Maze Runner, and I mean those are all newer books, but they're also teenager books. My dad said he would like Liev Schreiber and the redhead from Warehouse 13 in Dragon Riders of Pern, or in Space Horror movie.
In Star Beast and or Home.
Star Beast. That'd be awesome. Here, let's jump.
Martin Freeman's all like, "We're all just looking for the same thing out here, Captain."
Oh.
Home.
Ah.
See, look, I scared Jake, and I was sitting right here the whole time.
They're making a Popples movie.
What?
I can close that tab.
Yeah, just get rid of that.
Popples Kid Vid series to be. Oh, it's just a cartoon. Who cares?
What is it? What
it's
is
not
it?
like a live action. You don't know what the fuck a Popple is?
Hold on, stop. Aren't those like the combination animals?
No.
Those are wuzzles.
Those are wuzzles. You're thinking of wuzzles. Popples were the stuffed animals that rolled themselves into a ball.
Hold on.
So it was like
Popples. Are those things that they ate in that episode of Futurama that turned out to be
those were poplars.
I see.
Aren't these those bipedal things that walk around on the Earth and are generally more intelligent than any other organism? No, those are people.
Peoples.
People is what you're thinking of. They're making
in this week in worst news ever.
Worst Christmas ever.
Worst Christmas ever.
This is okay.
Worst Christmas ever.
This is basically saying, I don't care. This will make us money. This is the easiest way to say this in Hollywood, without actually saying it. Actually, it's the hardest way to say it.
Guys, they're making. They're making memes. They're making memes into full-fledged movies.
Well, we did
now.
have what is it, Fred?
Fred?
Like the kid with the voice, Fred or whatever. Like,
oh yeah.
Hasn't he had like a million movies already?
A couple of them, yeah.
But okay, so this is my point. If Hollywood wants to make money, then this is the most transparent way to do it. Because normally you'd be like, oh, I made this movie and it's really good, or oh, we're taking this, comic book property and trying to, and this is, you're crossing a meme. So we have Grumpy Cat, meme known by the internet, oversaturated by this point, and a holiday, Christmas. And they're making worst Christmas ever. Aubrey Plaza, why God are you doing this? I almost picked her for my Space Colony movie. Because I think she could do it too, but I think
Wouldn't you like to see her do something serious?
She's going to the dark side of the Force, man.
I'd like to see her do something serious.
Yeah, me too. Well, she was in...
Aubrey Plaza, your head is... your life is all topsy-turvy. It's upside down. And
your head's in the clouds.
Your head's in the clouds, and you need to take yourself seriously for once in your life.
Giant Mechanical Man 2.
Starring Aubrey Plaza.
No, Aubrey
Starring
Plaza...
extras from an NBC sitcom.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, Aubrey Plaza plays a role in
Parks and Rec. April.
Yeah, she plays April in Parks and Rec. That's probably what she's most known for. If you haven't seen Parks and Rec, get the fuck out of here. Go watch Parks and Rec.
It's a good show. It's an entertaining
we
program.
only have 10 minutes left. If you start the episode now, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
I'll let it slide this time.
We'll let it slide. But she was in...
We're really burying the lead on this one, by the way.
She was in a serious... Well, we just said it. Aubrey Plaza is playing the voice of Grumpy Cat in The Worst Christmas Ever. That's the whole...
Grumpy Cat.
Grumpy Cat.
Grumpy Cat. Hold on. Grumpy Cat.
Yeah.
You guys, let that sink in for a second.
That's like if they brought Dragon Ball Z back to
Can we do Rickroll the movie?
9,000. Yeah.
How about that?
Starring Rick Astley. No, starring who would be Rick Astley?
Oh shit.
What's his face from Community? The guy who did the soup. Fuck, what's his name? Why would I forget this? I'm forgetting all the names tonight.
He's no good anymore, guys.
That sucks, dude.
We gotta take this old Jake out in the field.
No. Yeah, this is dumb. This is stupid. But no, she was actually the movie that she was serious in was also based on an internet meme, but it was a good movie.
What?
Safety Not Guaranteed. She was in that.
Guys.
Along with the guy from The League.
Can we talk? Let's talk.
That was a good movie, though. I feel like they did the right thing with it. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. It's worth a watch.
Guys.
And I love
internet
time travel,
memes.
so.
Internet memes can't be movies.
That one was, but technically that was like an old. That was an old.
That's like an urban legend.
That's
really.
Pre-internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Memes can't be movies, guys.
Yeah, memes can't be movies, except for that once. You can't do it. Yeah, this is dumb. I'm closing out of this tab right now because that shit's stupid. They're making a Suicide Squad movie, all of you DC fans. Don't they have most of the Suicide Squad in Arrow?
Oh, well, they've actually had an episode that's basically just the Suicide Squad.
Neat.
Arrow's associate, John...
Kira County says Joel McHale. Yeah, he's the guy from the suit. Oh. I'd see him as Rick Astley.
Oh,
Rickroll, the movie.
Sure, there you go. Okay. Yeah, no, they, John Diggle, who is, Arrow's, associate. Why did you...
His name is John Diggle.
Fair enough, but, anyway,
How are you doing, Mr. Diggle?
Well, Diggle's wife, or ex-wife, works for Amanda Waller, and she becomes, spoiler alert for Arrow, by the way, she, of course, when we're introduced here, we find out that she knows who Oliver Queen is, or rather, who the Arrow is.
Oh, shit.
And then so she's like, well, Mr. Diggle, you're going to help us with this, otherwise we're going to have some stark conversations about what Mr. Queen does with his hours at in the evening. And it's just like, oh shit, well, I guess I'm going to have to go and do these. And so she gets...
So it's Amanda Waller, Bronze Tiger, who else?
Deadshot.
Awesome.
Shrapnel. I don't know. That was... And then also... they were making a joke about how they were all psychos, and then there was a woman voiced by Tara Strong in a nearby cell who said, "I'm a licensed psychologist," and it was basically the joke was that was Harley Quinn in the cell, but we never actually saw her, and she never actually joined up with them. So In the first iteration, yeah. So it was Bronze Tiger, Shrapnel, and Deadshot, and also Shrapnel got, spoiler alert, Shrapnel got his head blown up in the episode to illustrate that Amanda Waller had explosives planted in each of their heads to force them into doing the Suicide Squad thing.
Oh, because Suicide Squad, I get it. Yeah. I got it.
Also, Deadshot totally refers to it as, this ain't no secret unit. This is more like a Suicide Squad. He said it! He said it!
He said it.
Roll credits.
But yeah, apparently they're making a movie for that. That's cool. Bryan Singer's gonna helm X-Men Apocalypse. See, I'm so far behind X-Men, man. Like, I have not seen First Class, and I haven't seen Days of Future Past, and I feel really bad about it.
Alright, I'm gonna make a pledge on Jake and I's behalf. We will together watch First Class and Days of Future Past, and then we'll we'll kind of be somewhat up to date and able to really talk about the state of X-Men.
Because that's where they tear it down to build it back up again, right? That's what I've heard so far.
And I really disliked First Class.
My dad said, "What is your two worst actors or actresses ever?" And then he said, "My question wasn't good." Well, we got on a roll. Sometimes we'll click away. Listen, if we don't respond to your guys' questions or anything, it's just because we're looking at like an article or something. We're not ignoring you guys or anything like that. And there may be some nights, sometimes.
If you're concerned that we've missed your question, I personally will give you permission right now to repost it in the
Feel
chat.
Feel free to repost it. We try to scroll down and see whatever everybody said, so... But yeah, it was okay. I don't know. I don't really because actors and actresses can be, and I'm gonna flip flop on this just like everything else, or sit firmly on the fence. I really don't think that there. I mean, look at the prime example is Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
He's really good in some movies, and he's really bad in other movies.
Yeah.
It just depends. Like, I feel like there are a lot of people who didn't even really get a fair shake at some point. Like, Robert Downey Jr. used to be just like he started his film career as kind of like a bully character, and he was really good at that, but then he got a little more badass roles, and then he was on drugs for a really long time, and then he became Iron Man, and now he's a badass. So,
mm-hmm.
Like, it's...
Yeah, that's a real tough question. Like, because for someone to be my worst actor or actress, I'd have to basically be saying, this person, no matter what role they're in or what story they're in, they do nothing for me.
I mean, the Twilight, like the two main characters from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody's like, oh, they acted so terrible, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, but they did not give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that was money in the bank for them. Like, I'm part of a series. I know that we're going to be here for 2 more movies.
Actor? And this is really unfair to him. It's really dogpiling on this poor son of a bitch, Hayden Christensen.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he was. To be fair, the direction in the episodes 1 through 3 were terrible for everyone.
And the whole production in general. I mean, like, again, and I know I'm not the first person to bring this up. And then I'm gonna kind of segue this just a little bit here, but George Lucas created the most sterile, controllable, green screened out, like no thing on set to react to environment.
Yeah. So how are you supposed to act when you have no stimulus whatsoever?
Right, and like that's something you've been here. I've been reading a lot out of like some of the actor and like production reports out of the new Star Wars movies, where everyone's like, they're building real sets. It's like there's really gonna be people like hanging around and doing stuff and like fucking like like real things to react to, and how miraculous that is. But yeah, I mean, absolutely, a lot of that is probably, and frankly, I haven't really given much thought into.
Steelers?
He wasn't really good in that either.
No, he wasn't good in what was the other one? It wasn't Sliders. It was like where everybody had Nightcrawler powers.
Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He wasn't terrible in that. I feel like he had a little more room to be, but just wasn't.
But yeah, so Hayden Christensen really did nothing for me as Anakin Skywalker. He came across more as whiny than tortured. You know, and then again, and this is really not his fault, but the way that they put him after the fact, using more of George Lucas's digital fuckery, and they put him at the end of Return of the Jedi, and like totally robbed Sebastian Shaw of his fucking like the part where he gets to stand there as the ghost of Vader, like, hey, I'm the guy that was in the fucking Vader suit, and now I'm, and it wasn't even, you know, David Prost.
Because
he was at least the guy who was hired to be Vader without his mask off, and then I remember him, and like it really begs the question. Oh, so Anakin gets to go back and be this young man Jedi, and Obi-Wan and Yoda are still just sitting there as like fucking old men. Like, how's that fair in as way as like the fucking Force Ghost things? It just like, it really took a shit on the guy. You know what I mean?
No, it's I understand.
It'd be at least as bad as replacing Alec Guinness as Ghost with you know, Ewan McGregor. It's like, well, great, Ewan McGregor. I'm glad that you got to play Obi-Wan in 3 movies. Congratulations, but. You know, you don't get to dick over somebody else from beyond the grave, you know?
Well, I don't think Alec Guinness would have cared.
No, yeah, that's true. He hated Star Wars, but...
Yeah. Well, I would too if it was like, I have worked my entire life for all this stuff, and then I do a stupid movie. That's like, what if you were an actor, and you did all these, like, award-winning movies, and then you did, like, Scooby-Doo 14... and you were a spooky ghost, and everyone was like,
"Okay, can we not pretend that Star Wars is the same thing as Scooby-Doo 14?"
Well, to Alec Guinness, it was.
Sure, it was a kids movie.
It was a goofy space movie.
Sure,
he did not give a shit about it. So that's how he saw it, you know.
Fair enough.
My dad says, "Could you save his acting career?" Or could you save his acting career? I assume the emphasis is.
Yes, I'd like to cast him in Home, and I'd like to give him...
Hayden Christensen?
Yes, and I'd like to give him some honest direction and real sets to react to. And real actors to react to. Also, I'll give him the courtesy of not doing shot, reverse shot over and over again.
You should go method with him.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you know who gets the best reactions out of people, even though you can't really do it anymore. I feel like maybe in like the 70s, probably
Werner Herzog,
like Werner Herzog, like Stanley Kubrick, where you actually like imagine making like shooting a scene where Hayden Christensen's supposed to be really angry, and he starts off where he's like, "I'm so angry," and then it's like cut, do it again. I'm so angry. Cut. Do it again. Like
until
over
he's
and over
really...
until he's actually angry.
Like
that
sit
he
down
has
with
to keep doing it.
Sit down with all the actors and say, "Listen, my intention with this is to produce a real emotional picture, and to do that, I do not trust any of you to just summon these feelings up from the ether. So I'm going to be trying to chew each of you up." And spit all of you out
as little bars of gold.
And I love all of you guys. I wouldn't have you here if I didn't. But I'm gonna be very mean and very unreasonable with you.
I'm gonna walk out the store, when I come back, I'm gonna be your worst fucking nightmare.
Martin, I'm gonna need you to be a real dyed-in-the-wool fucking bone-chilling psycho. So I'm going to be pushing you to the fucking edge. And I want you to know that I'm doing this right now. And we're having this conversation. So you guys don't like go through this production thinking I'm just a big asshole. I'm doing this for you.
Alright, one last question. We're at the hour mark here. But my dad says, if you could drink a beer with anyone, who would it be? I meant famous, of course, stage, screen, or music.
While you're thinking about that, I'm going to tell a quick story. Okay. Someone Jake and I actually went to high school with, Justin Saylor, who's known as Bugsy, when we went to school.
Okay.
Justin Saylor basically started kind of a internet thing where his goal was to try to have a beer with Richard Branson. You know, the Virgin guy from Virgin Enterprises. Richard Branson. Virgin.
Like the store, the
The record company,
Okay.
the Virgin Galactic.
Okay.
Electronics, Global. Like he puts his name on everything.
Okay.
Puts that company name on everything.
Okay.
But his goal was to try to have a beer with Richard Branson, and it took
Okay.
him like 3 years, and like networking with people, and like, calling people up, and like trying to track him down and figure out where he was going to be for like different public appearances and everything.
Yikes.
But eventually he did it. And he got it on like film and everything, and he got to have a beer with Richard Branson. Got them to sit down and have a beer with him. So I think that was just kind of an interesting, considering in that light.
I
But
didn't know that.
but
That's pretty cool.
mm-hmm.
Who would I have a beer with? Man, who would? Do they have to be? If I had to pick dead, I would say George Bernard Shaw, partially because I'm related to him, but also I feel like he would be the kind of guy who you would want to have a beer with if he was comfortable with you, because he also seemed kind of like a recluse. But alive, I would say. I'm gonna say Amy Poehler on this one. Actually, I would have a beer with Amy. She seems like she's pretty down to earth. I'd like to pick her brain on a few things.
I'm going to format my answer the same. Dead, Hunter S. Thompson. Again, he also seems like the guy who might tell me directly to fuck off, but we're going to presume that he's going to be willing.
Right.
Because I've summoned him from the ether to have a beer.
Like, you can hang out on this plane of existence for a little while, as long as
you're
you have
having this beer with me. He's like, yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm just sure he would have some wonderful stories. And then, interestingly enough, and this is completely based on what Jake just said, but it reminded me and made me think about this. I was thinking about this the other day. Will Arnett. I'd like to have a drink with Will Arnett. Because he plays the same character, sort of like the same kind of character and everything.
Yeah, he does.
And I
have
wonder.
You seen BoJack Horseman?
I've watched the first episode of BoJack Horseman, and the thought occurs to me, I wonder how much of it is really there. I wonder what he's really like in real life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
doubt he's actually an asshole. It's usually, that's the funny thing. It's usually the asshole characters
who are actually like really nice and like
people
decent people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm curious, but
yeah, that's a good answer. Good answer.
Guys, pro tip: if you ever play a Family Feud game and the computer tells you "good answer," it's not.
It
was not a good answer.
You'll get rant. All right. Well, for a J&TRE viewer thing, we're past our hour. Thanks for coming.
Yep. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll see you next week with either a J&TRE review everything live or a J&TRE try to play live.
Oh yeah, that would be fun too.
We were recently challenged by one of our viewers from the previous week where we did what was it, Shadowgate?
Shadowgate. To
finish Shadowgate, so maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
But for J&TRE review everything live, I'm Trev.
I'm Jake.
And have a good night, guys.